was a Bible for entrepreneurs, it would be this. The 4 Agreements single-handedly changed the way that I looked at my business, but also my personal life. And I would say it's the one book that I read just about every single quarter because of how powerful some of the takeaways were. So in this video, I'm gonna give you just 3 major takeaways that you can start implementing in your life today to start growing your business and improving your life, all from the 4 Agreements, the practical guide to personal freedom. So the first thing, I remember reading this quote from the book and it literally blew me away. I remember stopping in the middle of reading and thinking to myself like, okay, I need to reassess my life a little bit. The human is the only animal on earth that pays 1,000 times for the same mistake. So most of us do this, and here's what it kind of means, or at least for us entrepreneurs, how we can articulate. If we make a mistake in our business, or we go down a wrong path, or let's say we make a mistake in our relationships, how often do we lay awake at night thinking about that one mistake again and again and again? This could be for years, and this is what creates, and this is what, again, the book talks about, this personal prison. We create this prison in our own mind, and to be able to free ourselves, he recommends these 4 agreements. So the first major takeaway that I want you to think about is how much of the decisions you make in your business or in your life, how much of those are ones that you are actually agreeing to? How much of those decisions are not just reactions or nervousness or fear creeping in and you make a gut reaction that leads to maybe not the results you want? Most of us, I think we all know this, but most of us, our decisions we make are not ours. They are kind of programming, if you will, from friends, family, other people's fears, and we take those things in and we decide, okay, that's how I'm going to live my life. But where do we go from here? How do we free ourselves from this personal prison? Well, it's the 4 Agreements, which leads me to the next major takeaway. The major takeaway for me, and again, how I'm going to implement my business, were the 4 agreements of their own. So I'll go through really briefly what those 4 agreements were. The first was be impeccable with your word. The second is don't take things personally. The third, don't make assumptions. And finally, try your best. Now, again, what's kind of eerie to me is how similar, if you will, this is like to the 10 Commandments for entrepreneurs. The biggest takeaway for me, and how you can implement in your business, is if you were to print these out, for example, put them on your desk, and you simply ask yourself, am I trying my best to live as though I'm agreeing to these things only? So let's take, for example, be impeccable with your word. It's something that if you're new to the channel, maybe you don't know, but if you've been here before, you've heard me talk about being impeccable with your word. And actually, it's the #1 law we have, for example, at Elevated, our Coaches Academy for new coaches. What could happen in your business if you were impeccable with your word? What this means is simply without sin, is what he articulates it as, but I'm going to give you another way of looking at it. Just simply doing what you say you're going to do. You wake up in the morning, you're feeling tons of motivation, you make a to-do list 20 things long, you know you're not going to do it, but what if you did? What if you actually, when you told someone, hey, I'm going to make a connection, I'm going to introduce you to so-and-so, or hey, I'm going to reach out to 5 clients that possibly I could work with, or I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to make a YouTube video, even though I'm kind of scared to do it. Imagine what your life would look like if you followed through on it. It'd be pretty amazing. The second law, for example, don't take things personally. This one hit me, and this is going to be probably the third takeaway from today, but I'll mention it here. The don't take things personally is the most difficult law to abide by. It's the most difficult to follow through on. However, if you did it, your life could be improved. How much of your life, again, somebody texts you something, you misread it, or you don't know their intentions with it, so you get upset and you're mad about it for days. I've been there, I know you have too. Or, for example, somebody tells you, hey, I'm not interested in your product, you take it personally. It's almost as if they're talking to you out of your own name. They're saying something incredibly mean to you. It's going to hurt your feelings. Once again, you're taking it personally. So that's the second law. Don't take things personally. Overall, the biggest takeaway I want you to get from, again, the 4 agreements in general is simply look at it as an operating system. Look at it as an ideal. Every single day that you wake up, you have a choice. And the choice is, can I abide by these agreements or laws? Kind of same. If you do, your life will change. I know, for example, for me, it did. The biggest application of business is, again, apply them to your business well as your life and watch as it grows. Now, the final major takeaway is simply going to be this. Imagine now you live this life, right? You live a life where you're in constant agreement with these new agreements. You put away the agreements that people have given to you, beliefs, limiting beliefs, fear, doubt, shame, all of these things that constantly creep up and get in your way of entrepreneurship, but you're still surrounded by people that are kind of in this old way of thinking. They are closed-minded. They, again, let shame, fear, doubt, all those things impede their decision making. What do you do now? And this is the hardest takeaway, is you have to start to use the 4 agreements as a filter for new clients as well as friends. People try to constantly change. I mean, how many new habits have you tried this year? How many new ways of thinking have you tried to implement only to fall short 3 months, 6 months later? What's the reason for that? It's the people you surround yourself by. If you're constantly being impeccable with your words, you cannot guarantee others are doing the same. You can't assume, which is one of the agreements, don't assume, but you can't assume that people are operating the same as you. So what do? You get a part of a community. You build a tribe of individuals. You make sure your inner circle is incredibly tight and make sure they're also following the 4 agreements. It's by doing this, your business will grow a lot faster because, again, you know the people you're doing business with are the right people around you. They have the right intentions and they're good-hearted, etc. The other part of this, too, is your clients. We've all had those clients, right, that weren't impeccable with their word, that do take things personally, that ultimately are not trying their best and they make assumptions. We've all had these clients, and guess what? I can guarantee you they weren't great clients. So what if you can make sure that they were? One of the things that a mentor of mine did with this book that I thought was fascinating was every single training that he does, this is required reading. Before you come to the training, these are 3-day long trainings for entrepreneurs, he makes you read this book before you attend. One of the things in our new book club, the Elevated Book Club that we're launching, this is the first book because it sets the tone. It ensures that everyone's on the same playing field. So the third and final takeaway is, now that you've changed your life because of this book, now that you've changed the way you operate, your business is growing, it's time to cut old roots that are holding you back. It's time to ensure that everyone around you is also following these 4 agreements. And if they're not, you have to have that difficult conversation, or by the way, just cut them out of your life. So I want to know what your takeaways were. If you've read this book, The 4 Agreements, go ahead and drop a comment below. Let me know your thoughts. And also, what's the next book you want some takeaways on? What's the next book that we should do a video on to help you on your entrepreneurial journey? Again, as always, stay motivated, stay elevated, and I'll catch you all in the next video.